Hello and welcome back to Outhouse Studio Devlogs. This time we're going to make another progress update since the last time we checked in. Last time we went over the decisions we made about how battle would work in our game, as well as how we went about making a system to get the player skills into the context of our game. This time we're going to talk about how we've set up a party selection scene and how this fits into the context of our MVP. We're also going to go into the different iterations of our party selection scene just to go over it. So let's start talking about how a party selection segment fits into our plan for our MVP. We plan to allow the player to select their party from a roster of characters, and that party would be the player's party for the upcoming battle. In other words, they'd first choose the 4 characters they want to take with them from the Knight, Mage, Priest, Brawler, and Hunter. Notice, the Priest and Brawler haven't been spoken about before, and indeed we haven't defined any abilities for those characters as of yet. The idea is just to have them to first demonstrate that our character switching is working properly, and also we will implement them at a later date. But for the moment, for the MVP, we're just going to keep the 4 characters that we discussed in the last devlogs. The purpose of the party selection screen is to allow the player to choose the characters they want to have in their party for the upcoming battle, as well as to choose the party slot configuration of the party. So recall that where characters are is significant to the combat experience. You'd probably want your knight to be further to the right or closer to the enemy's party, for instance. So really where the characters are in their sort of party slots is important, right? We want to affect the position of each character in the party by selecting the character to be moved and then selecting the slot to which we want to move that character. And this would work for both swapping out character positions as well as swapping out characters themselves. We're not yet sure whether we want to have the player choose their party members only once at the beginning of the MVP and then keep that party for the subsequent battles, or whether we want to allow the player to have the ability to choose their party for each specific battle. This is something we still need to decide. So with respect to the party selection design iterations, we went through 2 iterations. First, we began with a 2-dimensional iteration. So initially, we had this where the player party was being displayed similar to a series of cards on a table. We implemented a system for selecting the party with mouse clicks. At the time where we made this, we were not yet considering the position of our party characters. So this layout looked really great and worked very well, but a few weeks later we found ourselves considering a more 3-dimensional approach. So we found that having a more 3-dimensional approach allowed for us to bring the player more into the world of the game. Obviously, the background of our 3-dimensional selection menu is still subject to change, but it's a good start for the moment. We also added a side panel to later fill with more specific details about the characters being selected. We're now much more satisfied with the aesthetic of our party selection menu. We've implemented the functionality of being able to select which characters are added to the party, as well as where the characters are positioned within the party. This is done by clicking the target and then specifying a destination, in both the case of selecting the specific character as well as their position. Next on the roadmap for us is going to be to define a battle scene in which we load the player party configuration as well as initialize the enemy party configuration. This is going to lay the groundwork for the battle scene in which our core gameplay experience will be defined. On behalf of Outhouse Studios, thanks so much for watching. Please like and subscribe for more, and we'll catch you next time.